Greetings, and welcome to Today in Trek, our daily show about what has, is, and will happen in the world of Trek. We're reporting to you today from Q's Winter Wonderland. Today's episode is brought to you by a cup of Cuffum Coffee from Gun Barrel Coffee in Batavia, Illinois. Gun Barrel Coffee is a veteran-owned, small business that supports the men, women, and animals that support our country. Damn good coffee, damn good cause. Check them out at gunbarrelcoffee.com. If you've got a favorite coffee vendor that also contributes to the greater good, let me know, and I'll give them a try and a shout-out. Let's go on to Trek Day. Let's hit those birthdays first. 1938, Frank Langella was born. An actor whose career has spanned almost 60 years, he's probably best known for his portrayal of the title character in 1979's Dracula, and as Boris Balkan in The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. Trekkies will remember him best for his portrayal of Minister Jarrow in 3 episodes of DS9, The Homecoming, The Circle, and The Siege. In Trek series on this day, the TOS episode The Gamesters of Triskelion premiered in 1968. The episode revolves around the pitting of trained and untrained slaves against one another in gladiatorial combat for the gambling pleasure of the providers. It's up to Kirk, Uhura, and Chekhov to free the thralls by risking their own freedom. 20 quatlus on who wins this one. 1990. On this date, the TNG episode The Defector premiered. Written by Ronald D. Moore, the thought-provoking episode is an intricate plot of twists and turns revolving around the possible defection of Romulan Sub-Lieutenant Sital, or an elaborate hoax to get Picard to bring the Enterprise into the neutral zone. James Sloyan appears in the role of Sital, also Admiral Jarok, with Andreas Katsoulis as Commander Tomalak. On New Year's Day in 1993, Deep Space Nine premiered. The pilot episode, Emissary, was a 2-part introduction to a new crew and a new setting in the ST world. Considered dark in comparison to the more positive atmosphere in the TNG stories, DS9 focuses on a commander who is dealing with his own tragic backstory, along with a conflict brewing between the Bajorans, the Cardassians, and the Ferengi. This is our first introduction to Benjamin Sisko, his son Jake, Odo, Julian Bashir, Jadzia Dax, Kira Nerys, Kai Opaka, Nog, and Rom, and we'll also see the return of the familiar face of Chief O'Brien, and a little bit later, Worf. 1 year to the day later was the premiere of the DS9 episode Rivals. DS9 was still trying to find its footing in the storyline, and as such, Rivals is considered to be a bit of a meh episode. Today in book history. In 1980, Wallaby Books published Star Trek Spaceflight Chronology, written by Stan Goldstein and Fred Goldstein, and, I'm quoting the book here, illustrated by the brilliant artist of the space age, Rick Sternbach. The book, in used form, is available on Amazon. The Deep Space Nine novel, The 34th Rule, co-written by David R. George and our favorite Ferengi, Armin Shimmerman, and published by Pocket Books, it came out in 1999. Reaching across Trek franchises, the novel is based on a premise by author Eric Stillwell that retold some of George Takei's experiences at a Japanese-American internment camp during World War II. In the novel, Quark finds himself in prison after the Grand Nagus refuses to sell one of the lost orbs of the prophets back to Bajor. As a result, the Bajorans cut all diplomatic ties with the Ferengi and bring the two governments to the brink of war. In the end, Quark finds himself as the only person who can prevent a war between the two factions. The book is available on Amazon, used only, or as an audio download. On a Saturday note, on this day in 2001, Ray Walston passed away. While primarily known to Trekkies for his role as Boothby in both Next Generation and Voyager, his acting career was vast, ranging from his role as Satan in Damn Yankees to Luther Billis in South Pacific, and the role he was probably best known for in the 1960s, Uncle Martin on My Favorite Martian. That role, however, left him typecast, and he had a difficult time finding serious roles for a long time. He was, however, not short on roles, appearing in dozens of television shows and feature movies. Ray Walston passed away at the age of 86. In Trek lore, while many Trekkies were grieving the loss of Ray Walston, the construction of the Millennium Gate was begun in Portage Creek, Indiana. Designed and built with the intention of being the first self-sustaining civic environment featuring a self-contained biosphere with its own ecosystem. Completed in 2012, it served as the model for the first colony on Mars. The gate has a base width of 3.2 kilometers and a height of 1 kilometer. Covered with highly reflective solar panels, it was claimed to be visible from space. A point of controversy arose during the pre-construction phase of the project. The requirement for all the citizens of Portage Creek to surrender their properties and businesses before the project would be initiated has always been questioned. Theories explaining the requirement ranged from the given explanation from the Texas company responsible for the construction, that they wanted to be able to engage in construction with little to no interference from local government, to the argument that the reflective solar panels could damage local buildings, similar to the effect of the reflective coating on London's Egg, which has melted cars and set nearby buildings on fire. It should be noted, however, that after the construction of Farpoint Station, conspiracy theorists pointed out the significant similarities in design between the station and the gate, leading some to suggest that the gate was, in fact, another entrapped or possibly dead Nedarian. This theory is used to explain why the town had to be completely abandoned before this so-called construction could begin, to avoid having anyone discover the presence of the Nedarian. Trek History of the Future, Star Trek Countdown. Star Trek Section 31 is scheduled to go live in 23 days on January 24th, 2025 in the U.S. The show will be on Paramount Plus here in the States. If you have an update for what streams it will be on outside the States or any dates, please let me know. Gaming updates. Star Trek Online's Q's Winter Wonderland, where we are right now, will be wrapping up tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today's and tomorrow's universal endeavor is complete an Academy lore mission. Nice to have an easy one every now and then, and a great way to start the year. If you have more info about what happened or will happen on this day in Trek, including streaming services carrying Section 31 internationally, drop me a message or comment down below, and we'll see you tomorrow.